Alright, what is up guys? Navar here from Strength and Motion Academy. Just doing a backup video from the video on calories and macronutrients. And this video is going to be specifically on MyFitnessPal. So I'm going to show you guys on the computer just how to set everything up and how to use it on the computer. This is what you're going to want to use on your phone, so I highly recommend downloading, as you can tell, MyFitnessPal on your mobile phone because it's easy to take with you and use as the app. It's not far off from the computer online actual MyFitnessPal. The app is quite similar. So watch this video, you get an idea of how to use MyFitnessPal, but download the app and use the app on your phone, and it'll be pretty much the same transfer over from the computer over to the mobile phone. So anyway, before I dive into it, I'm going to actually show you how to figure out your calories and macronutrients real quickly, just like I did in the last video. So I'm just going to use the notepad here. This is just a basic setup of what I'm going to use. I'm also going to just use a random, like a random client, let's say. So let's say if someone weighs 90 kilograms and their goal weight is 80 kilograms, we're going to use this to figure out the total calories. So like I did in the last video, I highly recommend go check out the last video to get an idea of your calories and macronutrients, how to do this formula here and figure out your calories and macros. But for now, I'm just going to show you this real quickly. So let's say if your calories are, you're going to start off with 26 times your body weight, your current body weight, which would be 90. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do 90 times 26. So 2,340 calories. Easy as that. Now we figured out our calories. That's really that simple. Like I said in the other video, this is just a guideline for you to figure out whether these calories are your maintenance calories, your loss, your deficit calories, or your surplus calories. Next, we're going to figure out your macronutrient protein, which is 2 times your ideal body weight. So let's say your ideal body weight is 80 kilograms. We're just going to do 80 times 2. Obviously, that's 160 grams of protein. And remember, like in the other video, each gram of protein is 4 calories. So we're going to do 160 times 4 is 640 calories. So 640 of your total calories, of 2,340 calories, is going to be from protein. Next one is just fat. So we're going to do 30% of your calories as fat. So we're going to do 2,340 calories times 0.3 equals 702 calories from fat. Now, as I said above here, your grams in protein, each gram of protein equals 4 calories. There's 9 calories each gram of fat. So you're going to divide that by 9. Simple. 78 grams of fat. Now your leftover is going to be a carb. So that's your leftover calories. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to do 640 plus 702. 640 plus 702. 1,342. So let's put these in brackets. 1,342. And so your total calories is going to be the 2,340. So that's your total calories, minus those calories that you've already used for your protein and fat, which would be 1,342. Simple as that. And that's 998 calories. Let's say 998 calories. Which leave you with, divide that by 4, because each gram of carb is 4 calories, just like your protein. So divide these calories by 4. 249. Let's do 250 calories. 250 grams, sorry, of carbs. Now remember guys, this is just real basic just for the sake of this video right now. If you go check out the other video on how to figure out your calories and macronutrients, this whole entire thing will make sense. This video is not for the purpose of explaining this. This video is for the purpose of MyFitnessPal. So go check out the other video on calories and macronutrients. So now what we're going to do is we're going to enter these calories and macronutrients into MyFitnessPal. Before you do that, now we're on MyFitnessPal here. What you firstly want to do is you actually go to settings, and we want to change the units and make sure it's right units. A lot of the time it's under kilojoules and it's under pounds. And so what you do is you go, let me show you that quicker, actually a little bit slower. Click settings, and go change units. And as you can tell here, all we want to do is, especially from Australia, kilograms and calories are the 2 biggest ones. And making sure you change those units. Otherwise you'll be stuck under kilojoules and pounds and what have you, and it could get a little bit confusing. So change that within settings. The next thing is we want to go to goals. Within goals, this is where we can actually set up our calories and our macronutrients. So goals is under home. So my home goals. Remember guys, you can pause. That's what I like about the videos. You could pause, you could rewind, you could go forward, you could go wherever you like. If you're struggling with any of this, take a step back and rewatch it. And it all makes sense once you watch back over it. So, let me go back and do that real quickly. You're going to go from goals and you want to edit this here. So, if you're under the premium, you can actually set by grams. Which makes it a little bit easier, but I don't use the premium because you could actually get quite close anyway without using premium. So here you set up your calories and your macronutrients. So we're going 2,340 calories. So right here we're just going to enter those calories in. So whatever your calories are, enter at the top here. Now I want to change the macronutrients. Super cool thing here is 30% in fat right there, so that's already 78, as you can tell, like so. The next one is protein, so you want 160 grams of protein. This is where it might go a little bit out of whack. So this is a little bit higher than 160. 176, if you go down 25%, is 146. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably keep it 146, which means my carbs are a little bit higher. They're 263 instead of being 250. As you can tell, it's not much of a difference between the two. You can actually keep it like this anyway and still aim for 160 grams of protein and 250 grams of carbs using just your memory to remember that you can make that shift anyway. Otherwise, there's not many calories and carbs different between the two, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save those changes. Now, what I'm going to do is I've already actually done like a basic food plan for something around these calories, and they are right here. But I'm going to go back over it and just demonstrate all over again. Hopefully it loads. Perfect, okay. So it hasn't changed the calories yet, but what I'll do, let's do a whole new one for you guys. So what you want to do now is you want to go in, you're actually going to plan out your week first. So what I would actually get you guys to do is you want to track everything you eat on a daily basis, but before you make a food plan, guys, before you do your meal prep and before you plan for the day and plan what food you're going to eat every single day throughout the week, actually enter into MyFitnessPal and actually set up a food plan for yourself. So be like, okay, well, I've got this many calories, this many carbs, fat, and protein. Set it up into MyFitnessPal like I'm about to show you now, and you'll get a guideline of what food you're meant to eat in a day and how much food, and your portion control and everything like that. Get your mindset right first in regards to how much food you're going to eat in a day, and that's going to set you off for success in the future. Otherwise, if you just go straight and be like, I'm just going to eat whatever food and track it, the issue is you might be under eating or overeating and you're not prepared for the right amount of food within your day. So set it up like I'm going to show you now before your week starts and get an idea of what food you're going to eat on a daily basis, and you'll be well set off for success. So we're going to figure out what food. Down the bottom here, you can see your daily goal. This is your daily goal right here. So same amount of calories, carbs, fat, and protein as we did right here, like so. Your remaining is the remaining from the total that we're going to put in above here. And that's all going to make sense in a sec. So we're going to change all this. We're going to add some food in. So start off with the breakfast. Most of the time I like to get people eating some sort of like eggs and bacon for breakfast or eggs for breakfast. The reason why it's much more beneficial starting your day off with some high protein, high fat for breakfast. That way you're not spiking the insulin straight away as you wake up, which could add stress into the body, increases cortisol. And the benefit also to having fat and protein for breakfast is it gives the insulin a little bit of a break, makes you a little bit more insulin sensitive, so when you do eat carbs later on throughout the day, it's going to release insulin more effectively and move that energy as well. And so I find it's much more effective for you to eat fat and protein for breakfast. Not only that, it's going to sustain energy for longer instead of having something real high carb for breakfast where you're going to spike your sugar levels, your energy is going to increase, and you're going to have a much earlier crash, which is why most people crash around 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. and they have to have something like coffee or more sugar as well. So for breakfast, I'm going to do something basic. All you're going to do is add food. Like I said, this is pretty much the exact same as if you're using the app on your phone. Below here is recent. So once you've done this plenty of times, you'll have some recent stuff. This is all from like client, doing it for clients and stuff like that. So this is all a bit random. Also kind of write out what my clients eat at the moment to get a guideline of what they're currently eating. So I also recommend doing that, like to figure out how many calories you're having a day. You could actually write out your normal days in MyFitnessPal and track your calories as well if you like. But these are the recent stuff. I'm just going to do it as if I don't have anything here, so you guys can see what it's like to use it for the first time. So let's say if I'm going to have an omelette for breakfast, I'm going to search egg. Simple as that. Write an egg, go search. And here you go, lots of eggs. what you want to do is you generally want to find the consistency between them as well. So a whole egg here is about 71 calories. Whole egg here, 70 calories, 60 calories, 70 calories. So you can see that 70 is quite consistent. I'm going to go with the first one here because that's 71 calories. Now when you click on it, you've got so many different things here. You can actually do different serving sizes as well. So if you want an extra large egg or a jumbo egg, medium or a small egg, or if you want to weigh out your egg, these are all options that you can choose. I'm just going to go with a large egg, like so. The servings are on the side here. I'm going to do a 3-egg omelette, and you add that in there. What you also have is nutrition info. So if I'm going to take this down to 1 for a second, and that should load, perfect. This gives you the total calories per egg, the total fat per egg. Also breaks down saturated, polyunsaturated, and monounsaturated fats as well, and you want a good balance between these three. You also have the sodium, potassium as well, protein. So you have all the minerals, even dives into fiber. Everything within this food itself is right here in this nutrition facts. And so give it well and look at that. The goal is to generally keep the saturated fat down a little bit lower and making sure the sugars aren't too high. And just checking out the balance between fat and protein and carbs and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 eggs, like so. I'll leave this. I should have 3 eggs here, and all you do is add food to diary. Perfect. Now what you could also do, but I don't really do it, if you're having something like veggies and what have you, what I normally do is just leave a leeway of calories at the end, probably about 100 to 200, and that I leave that leeway for stuff like veggies, salads, for sauces and stuff like that, and I'll leave that open, because if you're going to have your egg omelette, me personally, I'm not going to add in stuff like your spinach and your mushrooms and your tomatoes in there. I'm just going to leave a leeway of about 100 to 200 calories for that at the end of the day. If you're going to add a little bit of sauce on it, go ahead, add some sauce onto it. But if you're going to have a lot of sauce, I would recommend weighing it out. But if you're only having a little, probably leave about 200 calories here, leeway, and leave it from your carbs mainly, and you should be fine. So that's just going to be your breakfast. Here I did add a little bit of mushrooms, but you can tell it's only 15 calories. That's not a whole lot. So, like I said, if you want to be a little bit more strict on it, go ahead. I love that. Do it. Otherwise, leave about 100 to 200 calories and you should be pretty safe. That's my breakfast. Normally, I would add in like spinach, mushroom. I'll add in some tomatoes as well. If I was to add a little bit of cheese in there, I will add cheese into MyFitnessPal and track that, because cheese will be higher in calories. Now what I'm going to do is I'll do my 3 whole meals, so breakfast, lunch and dinner, and then I'll do snacks for in between my breakfast and lunch, and snacks for in between my lunch and dinner. I think it works more beneficially if you do 5 meals a day, your 3 big meals, so your breakfast, lunch and dinner, and your 2 snacks in between those 3 big meals. The reason why is because it keeps you fuller for longer, and when lunch comes along, you're not starving, that you're less likely to go out and buy something bad or binge eat at lunch. Same thing as dinner. If you don't eat something between lunch and dinner, you're more likely to eat something larger at dinner and make the mistake of going out and buying some takeaway and what have you. And we want to stay away from that. So I'm just going to set up your breakfast, lunch and dinner first, and then we'll do the snacks at the end. So for lunch, also recommend meal prepping. Get your food made for a week in advance. Plan out, so do this on like a Sunday, set up your MyFitnessPal for the next week and get a guideline of what you're going to eat on a daily basis. And then on the Sunday, meal prep for the whole entire week. Make 7 lunches, make 7 dinners, and you will succeed more likely from that. You're less likely to go out and buy something bad. So as you can tell here, you got recent. So once you've done this for enough time, you can literally just click and then click add checked, and it's going to add it on super quickly. You'll find that you actually eat quite consistently, so most of the time you actually just add recent. But for the sake of this, I'm going to show you how to do it new. So I'm going to do chicken breast and just search chicken breast. Alright, now I'm going here. I'm going to look for a quite consistent chicken breast. What I'm actually going to do, and I know this actually. Oh, here we go. Chicken breast, 172 calories. Let's take a look at that. Nutrition info. So we're looking at, so that's a little bit too high in fat, and I know that's not right. As you can tell here, that's 110 calories, 112 calories. We want it by about 100 grams. We want it to be around the 110 calorie mark. Keep it nice and consistent, 94, 113, 147. And I know this is because it's a little bit higher in fat even. That's a little bit roasted. So you can do is chicken breast raw. Take a look at that, see if that pops up. Here we go. This is a little bit more consistent right here. As you can see, you got the calories, and it's because before chicken breast had roasted, so be mindful of that as well. What we're going to do is I'm just going to do this one here. If you go nutrition info, give you an idea, guys, about 100 grams of chicken is about 23 to 30 grams of protein. So I'm going to have 100 grams of that. I'm going to add that to your lunch. And with that, all I'm going to do is add in a little bit of rice. So we have some chicken breast and some rice for lunch. I would recommend basmati rice. Actually has really good nutrient value, quite decent fiber as well. And I just prefer it over something like brown rice. I think it tastes much better. What we're going to do is we're going to do 100 grams. Nutrition info. It's about 31 grams of carbs, which is perfect. As you can tell right there. So about 100 grams of cooked rice, or basmati rice, is 31 grams of carbs. So I'm going to add that in. Also, what I would recommend is, start weighing out your food as well. Very beneficial if you want to succeed. It's the way to do it. It takes 2 seconds, especially if you're cooking up in batches. You just weigh it out and it's super easy. Remember, if you want to make 100 grams of cooked rice, just cook up about 30 grams of raw rice, and it will turn out to be about 100 grams. So there you go, right there. 31 grams of carbs. What I would do also is, like I said with the veggies, you do want some veggies with each meal. So chuck in some broccoli, or add in, and make sure you get an array of colors. So broccoli, some peas, get some carrot, do some capsicum, change it up a little bit. Make sure you get different colors and of different veggies as well, because you get different nutrients and minerals from all of them. It also adds fiber. You definitely want to make sure you're getting your veggies in. But what I won't do is I won't add that in, because I like to just, like I said, keep a little bit of calorie leeway. But for the sake of it, I'll show you actually even. So if you're going to have some broccoli. If I get the spelling right. Perfect. Just going to add 1 cup of broccoli. Add that in. You could also do, let's say if you're going to make a little bit of a dish, you do want to flavor these. If there's no problem at all with adding some flavors. If you're going to make like a spaghetti bolognese, there's no problem with that at all. Just be mindful of how much sauce you're using. I'll stay away from stuff like your coconut milk, so having those real milky sort of curries. They're going to be a lot higher in calories, so stay away from that. But let's say if you're just going to go buy like a chicken tonight dish and go, so chicken tonight, you're just going to go with like some whatever flavor, that's fine what pops up. Creamy mushroom. Creamy mushroom, as you can tell here, much more higher in calories. So we'll probably stay away from something like that. Nutrition info. 7 grams of carbs. Perfect. And that's only about 43 calories added on. So let's say you have some Spanish chicken. Chuck a little bit of flavoring in. It's going to add that a little bit of calories in. As you can tell, it's mainly from carbs as well. With dinner, we're going to change it up a little bit. So you had chicken for lunch. You're going to have dinner. Let's say you're going to have like some red meat of some sort. Let's go with like a leaner steak. Try and stay away from the fatter steak. So the steak that has like that white aspect to it running through it, that's all the fat. So we're going to stick to more leaner. It's 4 grams of fat, much better. 22 grams of protein. We're going to have 100 grams of that for dinner. So 100 grams serving. Add that food to the diary. And we're going to have some potato. Let's have some steak and potato. Let's say we go with like, so we add like three potatoes in. Feel a little bit more peckish for dinner. And it's going to be a little bit higher in carbs here than what you had for lunch, 78. And there's no problem at all with that, guys. Don't fall into the myth of not eating carbs or eating food past 5 p.m. It's an absolute myth. In fact, actually, if you eat carbs before dinner, what would happen is the body will digest it while you're sleeping as well, and it's not going to stress. If you're sleeping, like I said in the last video that I made, if you're sleeping on a low caloric intake, the body is then going to start breaking down protein throughout the night, which comes from your skeletal muscle tissue and from your organs, to turn that into energy so that it could actually use energy while you're sleeping, because you are using energy while you're sleeping. It is less than when you're awake, naturally. I don't need me to tell you that. That's pretty common sense. But if you were to be under-eaten throughout the night, you don't have enough calories or energy throughout the night, the body's going to release adrenaline. It's going to affect your sleep. And so don't be worried about that. So that's your dinner. What I might even do is add in a little bit of sauce. Let's say just chuck in a little bit of, let's say you have a little bit of gravy or some sort with your dinner. no problem at all. So just search some gravy. Like I said, you're going to get, the good thing about the app as well is you can actually scan barcodes. So if you were to buy like a gravy mix or what have you and make it, you can actually scan it and put in, you could put in the amount that you're having, and it'll do that. So I'm just going to add that gravy in. 15 calories, no big deal, right? That's what I'm saying, guys. You don't need to be super strict. You know, you can add some flavoring in. It's not going to kill you. As long as you're tracking, guys, and you're tracking your calories, and as long as the majority of your food, it comes from good sources, real good sources of nutrients and minerals and vitamins, and making sure you get enough fiber, make sure you get enough whole food, real food. You should be fine having a little bit of sauce here and there for adherence. The goal is, guys, is consistency and adherence to the food plan. You're best off eating, you know, an 80% good diet for a long period of time than being strict to an amazing diet that keeps you 100% perfect, but you can't follow that for long. You're only following it for about a month, and then you lose your mind, and then you binge eat, and you follow this yo-yo dieting. You want something you can change your lifestyle to and stick to for a long period of time. So that's it. That's your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, guys. As you can tell, we've got quite a lot of calories to still make up. The majority of it comes from your fat, your protein, and your carbs. So that's pretty, as you can tell here, we can start to now ramp this up a little bit and make a little bit of changes. So what I'm going to do first is add in your snacks in between your lunch and dinner, and your breakfast and your lunch. What I normally do to most of my clients is give them some sort of nut variable and some fruit as well, because we're clearly high in fats, and it's extremely important to get your fats up. And not only that, is if you have fats in between your meals, fat is more satiety, it keeps you fuller for longer, it's more slower digesting, so your energy stays more stable throughout, between your meals especially. So when your meals come to, so your lunch and dinner, and you're about to have your lunch and you're about to have your dinner, you should be feeling quite satisfied with your snacks in between, that you're not going to go out and binge eat and go buy Hungry Jack's or McDonald's and what have you. So what I'll normally do is just add in some snacks, let's say some walnuts. And let's say I'm going to have in between my two meals, I'm going to have about 25 grams of walnuts and 25 grams of almonds in between each. So I say 30. So I'm going to have 30 grams of walnuts twice. That's right. Yep, twice. Add that food. So I'm going to have 30 grams of walnuts between breakfast and lunch, and then 30 grams of walnuts between lunch and dinner. Actually, I might roll that. I think that's too high. Nuts, almonds. I'm going to search on almonds. I like walnuts and almonds because they're high in fiber. They're good for your gut health as well. And I like the taste of them myself. I'll go with 30 grams. Add food to diary. Let's reduce this a little bit more. It's a little bit balanced. We want the fat a little bit more balanced, so we're going to go 1.5, which take that to 45. And I'm going to increase this to 0.45, which take that to 45 grams. Alright, so now our fat is pretty much on par. All we have to do is increase our protein and increase our carbs. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to purely increase on the meat here. So to give you an idea, 100 grams of meat is about the palm size of your meat. So that's not a whole lot. You tend to find you could eat a lot more. So we're going to go with 200 grams of chicken, 200 grams of steak. Perfect. Now all we have to do is increase our carbs a little bit more. What I've done already is, as you can tell, is added the sauce in. So we do want this to be about 2200. So you want about 400 calories more, which is about 100 grams more of carbs. Now that will be your fruit. So your two snacks, your snacks in between. I'm going to go with a couple of banana. Let's say have a banana with your morning snack. No, a banana's a little bit heavier than that, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go with, a banana is generally about 100 grams. And so that's about, perfect, 23 grams of carbs. Add that food in. There we go. Now we're going to add in, let's say you're going to have an apple between lunch and dinner with your walnuts and almonds as well. You mix of the two. Add food to diary. Perfect. 1972. So we want to up this even more. So what I'll do then is, I'm pretty happy with your potato here. You're having 78 grams of carbs here, but you're only having 31 grams of rice here. So let's add this up. Let's do 200 grams. As you can tell, guys, you're going to need to move it around. And this is why it's important to do this before you make your food for the week. There we go. 2100. You're about 230 out. You're going to be having broccoli with these meals. So as you can tell, he has 31 grams. Let's just add in the broccoli anyway to get a guideline of how close we are to our calorie count. 1 cup of broccoli, add that in. There we go. We do want to go up a little bit more still. 40 grams of carbs. Still one more piece of fruit. So what I might even do, let's add in another piece of fruit somewhere. Let's say a pear of some sort. And what that's going to do is you'll have that at your hungriest point. So let's say if you're a little bit hungry in the morning tea, add another piece of fruit. If you're a little bit hungrier around your workout or before dinner, after your lunch, then have your pear then. So add that in. Add food to diary. Perfect. So not far off here. 19 grams. But 119 calories. I'm pretty happy with that, guys. Normally, I keep a little leeway of about 100 to 200, like I said at the start of the video. The reason why is because people are going to have different things. Like people are going to start adding in coffees and stuff like that, and not track that. And there might be a little bit of leeway. So normally I eat a little bit less. Most of you are going to be dropping weight as well. Like your goal is fat loss, so there's no harm in doing that. But remember, guys, track your weight and make sure you're going in the direction that you want to go in. This is as simple as that, guys. So what you want to do, use this. Create a food plan. This is what you're going to eat on a daily basis every single day for a week. Create a food plan before you start meal prepping, before you move into your week. This gives you a guideline of what you want to eat on a daily basis to achieve your goals. Then what you're going to do on a daily basis is once you eat a meal, if you're going to have your breakfast, write it straight into MyFitnessPal. If you're going to have lunch, straight into MyFitnessPal. When you have your snacks, add it into MyFitnessPal. And keep track of it on a daily basis. And at the end of the day, if you're staying consistent, you should be this every single day. It should be consistent every single day. It should be around these calories, these macronutrients as well. And then you will achieve your results. Like I said, guys, it's the only way for you to achieve true success. You can get results without doing this, there's no doubt. But if you want to really succeed and achieve the best results possible, do this. It will eventually only take you about 5 minutes in total out of the whole entire 24-hour day. And you're going to get amazing results. So go check it out, guys. Much love. If you have any questions, send them through. More than happy to answer them. And if you still get confused or anything like this and you feel like you want more help, then hit us up and we're more than happy to write a personalized food plan for you guys and demonstrate this in person. Much love, guys. Take care. See ya.